guys, I'm April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and I am back with my bee journal. I know it's been a little bit, it's been a crazy couple weeks here, but here I am, I'm working on it, I swear. So today I am working on hidden or tucked away journaling spaces. And I'm going to move pretty quickly through these. I'm not going to finish every single page, but I wanted to give you some ideas of ways to sneak extra journaling space into your journals. So the first one I'm starting with one of the ephemera cards from my Be Happy Junk Journal kit. And I've got a piece of notebook paper here. This is just regular notebook paper, and they grab a piece. So it was a whole piece. I cut off at the pink line, and then I cut the strip, so just a width slightly smaller than my journaling card. And you can do this for any size card. This is a larger card. I'm making a focal piece on this page, but there's no limit to the sizing. You can go bigger, you can go smaller. The mechanics are the same. I then took and folded my paper so that it was just a little shorter than the height, and then anything left over, I folded again. So I folded it over once, and then I folded it back. So I kind of zigzagged it, just like that. I am gonna ink the edges of this really quickly. All right, so now that I've got this inked, I'm going to show you how to assemble it. Now mine has worked out very nicely. I've got a tab here to attach to my card. I've got a panel to the attached to the back. If you do not have this extra little flap, you can glue directly to this panel here. It will still work. I just like having that extra little bit of length, so then it kind of accordions all the way out instead of just flipping down. Both work. So don't worry about it. You can also use some tape or extra paper or something to extend your paper. You can make this go on, but put two together, string them together, and really make it accordion out. But for today, we're sticking with this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is attach this flap to the back of my card. I'm using my Oohoo glue stick. This works pretty well. I haven't had any problems with it coming undone. I am just going to glue, and I'll show you once this is attached how it looks. Make sure it's attached to the top, and we want to make sure that it is neatly attached and that everything is nice and hidden behind our journaling card. Grab my bone folder, give that a little rub. All right, so from the side, that tab is attached right here. And I've got a full letter Z now. It's kind of backwards, but you get the point. So from here, I'm going to take this panel, this back panel, and I'm going to attach that directly to my page. I'm going to center that up as best I can. And I do see it's peeking out just a little here. If this glue isn't quite dry yet, I might be able to sketch it up. And if not, I can either refold or do some trimming or just leave it be because it's not too big of a deal. Maybe I'll add a decoration to the bottom of my card. It'll hide it. Decoration hides everything. So let's go ahead and we're gonna glue just this back panel. This panel has no glue on it, and then this little tab is glued to my journaling card. So I wanna make sure that this is the back. Only gluing the back. Triple checking before using glue. Good coating of glue stick on there. I'm gonna let this fold up and get this centered. I'm centering mine on my page. You can place this anywhere on your page. You can do a little one off to the corner. You can do a long one that maybe it accordions down more. Get clever with this. This is just the mechanics of it. And I've gotten mine a little crooked, so let's see if we can get a little sketch on this. All right, get this a crease. So now we have this piece here. It pulls all the way down, and we have a bunch of journaling space. Now to hold this in place, the bottom of it is going to kind of hold itself because it has this panel right here, but the top is going to need something to secure it. So for me, I have picked one of these crazy little playing cards. I think I might actually cut this in half. Maybe, sort of. You know what? I like it. Let's just keep it. So you can put just like a little tab, something small. I'm making a giant tab with this queen card. And I'm gonna grab my Beacon Fabri-Tac. This has a very slick finish on it, and I'm worried about it kind of coming undone. And I'm just gonna do a little 1, 2, 3. It's basically a tuck spot. So you could use, if you've made some clusters, you can use a long cluster for this. And I am gonna decorate this further. And if you find that something is crooked, you can always kind of recrease just a little. Kind of adjust it, press down, use your bone folder, and coax it into position. So now I have this tab to hold my bee in place. I'll be doing some more decorating on this page, but for now, we're gonna move on to the next journaling space idea. All right, so for this next one, we are gonna make the little pop-up card. I did this in my butterfly journal, and I have one here that I've already done. I actually filmed the process of making this and the camera went all crazy, so I am gonna make another one and refilm it. So I used lined paper, so let's just set this to the side. And here I've just got a regular old piece of notebook paper. And we're gonna cut this into a square. So you can, when you're cutting your paper, if you're using a lined paper, you try to think about what parts of the paper you want to use, because this does have some pink lines on it. I'm going to cut right down the line. I'll hold on to this little trim piece. That's a nice piece to use later. And then we need to make this into a square. For this larger one, let me grab my book again. Oops. For this larger one, I used an 8-inch square and put it inside a kind of card that is about 4.5 inches. Just to give you an idea of the scale of that piece, I'm going to go a little smaller on this one. So instead of an 8-inch square, I am going to do a 6-inch square. So looking at my page, I'm going to turn this and cut off, let's see. Oh, that's going to be right down the other line. There we go. And then I'm not going to use the blank spot at the top. I'm just going to go to 6 inches and trim that. That way I have a nice square with all my lines that I can use for journaling. So just so we can keep track of which side is which on this, I'm going to give this a little stamp at the top. Let me use this as kind of a scrap paper. And this way you can keep track of what's the inside and what is the outside. I'm going to just go right like that. And that's a cute little detail that's going to be on the inside. Now to make this pop up, the first thing you're going to do is fold it in half with whatever is going to be on the inside on the outside. So we're just going to fold that right in half. And I'm going to grab, there it is, my bone folder, give that a crease, and open it back up. So now we have one crease. Now I know we've done this crease already, but I just realized that I meant to tell you that this crease, the direction of this crease, whether you fold this way or whether you fold this way, is going to depend on what direction you want this to open. If you are going to want it to open with, in this direction, side to side, then you can put it top to bottom. And this only matters because we're using a lined paper. And honestly, if you mess up, so it's sideways. It's sideways journaling space. It's not a big deal. So I have another one that I had done where I went the other direction, and you can see where that crease is up and down here, but my lines are the other way. That way I can make a little card that opens this way, up and down, and that will have them in the right direction. And I would not stress too much over this. You'll kind of get the hang of it. If you make a mistake, just turn your project and pivot, literally pivot, and figure out a different decoration idea, or just write sideways. All right, so back to this. So we've got up and down, Open it up. Now we're gonna fold with our inside piece on the inside. I'm making a triangle in one direction, corner to corner. And then same thing, but in the other direction, corner to corner. Open it up. Now you've got 4 quarters here. You've got 2 that are just triangles and 2 that are triangles with a line inside. You are just going to go like that. So open it up. There's no crease in the middle here. There are creases in the middle here. Grab those little middle creases and push them right towards each other. Boom. And now you've got this cool little paper hat thing going on. I'm gonna grab my bone folder and crease that down really well. So there's 2 layers here. You got 2 layers of little flappy things. Boom, boom. We're gonna fold those flappy things to the middle. So grab 1 layer, the top layer, fold it right to the middle. Same thing on this side, right to the middle. Flip it over, same thing to the middle. And to the middle. So now we've got this going on. Now we're gonna grab each of these points. You're gonna pull the point out. You're gonna open the point up and then just tuck it in. If it gets caught, just kind of pull on it a little bit and it should go right on the inside. So I'm gonna open up this little point and tuck it inside of itself. And fold it right back up. Turn it around and do the same thing. Right in like that. And one more. That one's being stubborn. See if I just tugged on that and it just pops right in. And there we go. So now you have something that looks like this. Crease it down really well. And then open it up. And there we go. We have our little piece. Now it's not going to open and close super well until we attach it to a base. So for my base, I'm going to grab some cardstock, reaching over here. Let's get some green cardstock. And my paper trimmer. And I'm honestly gonna just put this right here. I'm gonna need to turn this around somewhere. There we go. Put that there. So we want to leave space around the edges. We want it to be a little bit generous so that there is some room to work with. And this was just a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. You do not want to accidentally cut your paper. Pull this down. So, right like that, and boom. Now we need to just flip this down like that. Give this a little extra space because we are basically doubling it. So we were right here and we're making a card and we want to make sure that the card can contain this. So I just kind of flip it over. This is a little bit guesswork. If you want to be precise, by all means, measure, 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 measure. There we go. Now I'm just going to fold this little card right in half. And double check and make sure this fits inside. All right, last step, attach it to the inside. I'm just gonna grab my Oohoo glue stick and put some glue right here on the flat. And put this right into my card like so. I want to get it pretty close to the crease. You don't want it to be so far in that it's gonna bind up, but you don't want it too far out because then you'll have kind of like a dead spot underneath. It'll get a little funky. All right, glue on this side and squash it. All right, so now I have my card. It's opening and closing nicely. There's no dead spot under there. You can always just peel up and then kind of squish it shut if you have to, but just kind of play with it and make sure it's opening and closing properly. You might have to push this point like way down in there. So you can see here where I've glued mine into my journal. And I did turn this one into a pocket. I did a glue on 3 sides and put it in as a pocket. And then I added these little corner tabs to kind of hold it shut. And that worked pretty good. I did have to cut out a little notch so that the paper could open and close properly. You can kind of see where that might catch on there. So that one I have done already. Let's find a place for this one. Now you could definitely tuck this into a pocket, decorate it, tuck it into a pocket, and be done. I think I'm going to turn mine into a tuck spot if I can find the perfect page. Here we go. I am towards the back of my journal, and I think I'd like to put this one in right here like this. Now, this is where you can think about how you want to work your closure for this piece. So I'm going to glue this in as a tuck spot on 2 sides, and I need to decide how I want to keep it shut. And I think in this case, a piece of string or yarn or something like that is going to be perfect for keeping this closed. All right, so I've just grabbed a little bit of baker's twine, and let's decide which way this is gonna go. Let's see here. I think maybe up and down this way, or might hold it closed better. I think I like that better. So let's cut a good sized piece of this. And tie a little bow. And now I can decide how I want to position my little tuck spot here, because I want the glue to go over the string, and that's going to hold it in place and keep it from disappearing on me. I've got my Beacon Fabri-Tac, and I am just going to glue 2 sides. 1, 2. A little sloppy, but you get the idea. And I'm going to position this right into the corner. All right, and once this dries, now I have this cute little tuck spot where I can put some ephemera right in there, but also a little secret writing area. All right, so let's move on to the next idea. I am starting with a 6-inch square piece of paper, and this is going to be really similar to the last one we did. I'm just going to fold that right in half. Let's move my book out of the way and grab my bone folder. So we're going to go in half. Gonna flip it and make my triangles. It is important that this is an actual square and not a rectangle. Crease it that way. Same thing, the other direction, make another triangle. And we are just gonna make that little pop in, right like that, just like we did before. So we're gonna tuck those little triangle pieces in, and now we can just slip this right over the corner and then hold it in place with a paper clip or something like that. Let me see if I can find my paper clips. And we got these ones. These are pretty. They don't really match my journal, but for this project, it'll do just fine. And I'm just gonna clip right over it. And you can do a decorative paper clip. You can put a cluster on a paper clip, whatever you wanna do. And now you've got a journaling paper. This was a 6-inch square. This is about an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in half. So it is that 8.5 by 5.5. So you can make these smaller if you want. You can decorate them, you can stamp them, but that's a quick, easy way to add a little journaling space to any page. Okay, now that I've shown you 3 kind of secretive ways to add journaling space to your journals, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna decorate these spaces that we just made. If you just wanted to see how these journaling spaces were constructed, then you are good to go. But if you wanna hang out, I'm gonna put on some nice music and work on decorating those 3 areas of my journal. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I got things all finished up with my hidden journaling spaces. I hope that this inspires you to work on your journal or your bee journal. I know some of you are working on those. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.